The things billionaires buy with money are not limited to houses and cars. From $100 million secret bunkers to $300 million flying cars. From $500 million private jets to a $5 billion car collection. Here are the most valuable purchases of billionaires. First up, the richest man in the world right now, Elon Musk, lives not in billion-dollar mansions, but in a tiny $50,000 box house. Called the Boxable Casita, this prefabricated home is only 35 square meters. Inside, there's a bed, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a tiny living room, basically the size of a studio apartment. In 2020, Musk said, "I've sold almost all my houses. I'm living simply now," and moved into this house right next to the SpaceX launch site. Sometimes he stays here just to be close to the company. Sometimes, after fighting with his girlfriend. Even if you're the richest man alive, you're still afraid of the woman you live with. But there's someone who doesn't have to worry about women. Bill Gates. After his divorce in 2021, he locked himself in his $200 million library. His mansion, called Xanadu 2.0, has a library that's anything but ordinary. A massive room, walls inscribed with quotes from The Great Gatsby, and every corner packed with million-dollar technology. Sometimes he codes all night, sometimes he fishes in the stream in front of his mansion, and sometimes he flips through the Codex, Leonardo da Vinci's own handwritten manuscript. Gates bought this masterpiece in 1994 for $30 million. And today, it's worth over $130 million. While Microsoft's founder locked himself in a library, Apple's founder filled his garage with the rarest cars. Steve Jobs' obsession with automobiles was so unusual that he preferred to drive cars without license plates his entire life. And there was never an ordinary car in his garage. Icons like the Mercedes SL55 AMG, Porsche 911, and the legendary BMW Z8. He even had this quirk. He would swap his car every 6 months for the exact same model, brand new. The most valuable car in his collection was the BMW Z8, worth over $300,000 today, and his entire garage added up to around $20 million. A garage like that is every man's dream. Cars, books, tiny houses, all nice. But some billionaires show their power by buying entire islands. Larry Ellison's island, bought in 2012 in Hawaii, is almost as big as Las Vegas. Inside are 5-star hotels, golf courses, and even a small town. About 3,000 people live there, and the whole island belongs to Ellison. At the same time, he experiments with renewable energy and agriculture on the island. Of course, sometimes he uses it for his own retreat. But the main purpose of this island is tourism investment. He paid a total of $300 million for it, and now it has its own economic system, generating Ellison millions of dollars each year. Larry Ellison bought his island as an investment, but Mark Zuckerberg had a completely different idea when he bought his island: to build a doomsday bunker. On paper, it sounds simple. Buy an island, fill the surface with mansions and farmland, then underground build concrete walls, hidden tunnels, energy and water systems, and enough supplies to keep a family alive for 100 years. But at the end of the day, Mark paid $500 million for this bunker. Mark built his future underground, but Larry Page always kept his eyes on the skies. The Google founder wanted to be at the forefront of the flying car revolution. For years, he poured hundreds of millions of dollars into secret factories. In the end, he came up with a prototype that could fly 40 kilometers at speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour. But reality hit like a concrete wall. Larry Page burned nearly $500 million chasing this dream, and the company eventually collapsed. Today, he's still trying his luck with Boeing-backed Whisk, but the flying car revolution doesn't look as close as he hoped. For now, his $300 million flying car sits collecting dust in the garage. Larry Page couldn't make his flying car dream come true, but Elon Musk came up with a much smarter solution. Faster, safer, far more realistic. Buy a jet. Elon Musk's jet is a Gulfstream G650ER, one of the fastest business jets in the world. It has 3 separate living areas, a full kitchen, and 16 huge windows to see the sky from end to end. Price tag? Just $71 million. And if it had unlimited fuel, this jet could circle the globe in only 36 hours. It can hit up to 700 miles per hour. What the f***? Honestly, every man probably needs one of these jets just to escape after an argument with his wife. This $71 million jet may be impressive, but when it comes to oil billionaires, they show off in the skies too. With a capacity of 800 passengers, the Airbus A380 turned into a private jet was basically a palace in the sky. Prince Al-Walid had plans for a garage for his Rolls-Royces, a private mosque for prayers, a spa, a gym, and even a massive throne room right in the center. This flying palace would have cost $500 million, making it the most expensive private jet in history. But here's the funny part. This plane never made it to the skies. The order was canceled, and the flying palace remained only on paper. But the prince is still determined to make this project real one day. The prince's flying palace stayed on paper, but Jeff Bezos's 10,000-year clock is a real project. In 1986, inventor Danny Hillis came up with a crazy idea. Build a clock that would work for 10,000 years. And strangely enough, Jeff Bezos loved the idea. A giant mechanism carved 150 meters deep inside a mountain in Texas, designed to run for 10,000 years straight. That's where it gets its name. Bezos paid a total of $42 million for this colossal clock. I guess his $100,000 watch collections just weren't enough anymore. While ultra-rich people spend fortunes on everything, of course their most expensive possessions would be the homes they live in. Well, except for Elon Musk. With 120 billion streams on Spotify alone, Drake's house was never going to be ordinary. Rising in the heart of Toronto, the Embassy is a $150 million palace. It has an NBA-sized basketball court, a 3,200 square foot bedroom, and even a transparent glass piano. And like every ultra-rich mansion, it's filled with the usual luxuries: a nightclub, spa, massage rooms, recording studios where he makes his albums, massive kitchens and dining halls. All the basic things the ultra-rich can't live without. If there's one mansion that's anything but basic, it has to be Trump's. In Palm Beach, right on the Atlantic coast, sits a palace with 126 rooms and 62,500 square feet of space. Just the gold leaf ballroom alone is 20,000 square feet and worth $7 million with its gilded decorations. From the observation tower, you can watch the ocean, but the craziest detail is the 3 bomb shelters built during the Korean War hidden inside the estate. This palace, called Mar-a-Lago, is worth around $400 million today. I swear Trump has to drive a car just to get from one end of his house to the other, but I can't prove it. Of course, we couldn't skip the most expensive thing on the seas. To call the Eclipse just a yacht would be unfair, because it has literally everything. 2 helipads, a mini submarine, its own nightclub, and even a 16-meter swimming pool despite already being on the ocean. But the real highlight of the Eclipse is its defense systems. An armored hull, a missile defense system, and even lasers to blind paparazzi cameras so they can't take photos. The value of this giant beast? A staggering $1.5 billion. Honestly, I could probably live the rest of my life on this monster without ever leaving. But this sea monster has a twin on land. Mukesh Ambani's gigantic Antilia is a skyscraper mansion towering into the sky. It has 27 floors, each one filled with something different. 6 floors are just for garages, holding a total of 168 cars. The upper floors have vertical gardens, a 50-seat cinema, and even a snow room with artificial ice. This monster is worth $2 billion, and protecting all 27 floors isn't easy. That's why more than 600 security guards work there. And finally, the last and most expensive piece on the list, Sheikh Hamad bin Hamdan's car collection. This collection is the most expensive in the universe. It includes more than 3,000 vehicles, the world's largest RV, the world's largest SUV, and hundreds of the rarest and most expensive supercars. The cost of the universe's most expensive garage? A full $5 billion. But Hamad's obsession with showing off didn't stop there. He wrote his name across the Arabian desert, so massive that it can be seen from space. I'll never have a chance to be rich, but you subscribing and joining our family would already be the greatest wealth for me. This wasn't just a video, this was RichLogic.